So I think the stream has started.
कभी तुम लोग कोई क्लास लेट आया?
Hello.
हेलो।
Wow. You guys see, I have my phone. I just wanted to know if I'm actually streaming or not and how it looks. Yeah, it looks nice. There's a 2 seconds delay, I think. But I think that's how the stream works. So I'm fairly audible and visible. Okay, so now we can start. Now everything is set. My phone is getting charged. I have laptop that is also charging, and then I have kept my Ether active scooty that is also charging. In the night it was not getting charged, but somehow in the morning it has started. So I'm relaxed. I'll be able to go to office. So let me tell you first the details. Today is 11th of February 2016, 2026, and it's about 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm at Agra. Okay, that's enough, I think. Now let's read. Let's read. So I'm sharing my skin. This one. Okay. So currently I'm on 97th page. I think I need to see exactly where I am. Where's the roadmap? If I'm out of my lane or not. That's why. See what we have completed. This is the content. Wheels in the wealth in the wheelchair that we have completed. Wealth is not a road, but it's a road trip. What is the sidewalk roadmap? Mm, so the sidewalk roadmap. This we have completed of the chapters. Now this was the part three. We are on the part four. Mediocrity, the slow lane roadmap. Okay, so we are at page number the futile fight education, the hypocrisy of the guru, why and you rich. So I think I am, if I go to 97 page, I see this is the PDF's 97th page, but the page number that I can refer from the index is 82. So let's go back to the menus. Now see, where is the 82 chapter? Uh, I know that I am on the part 5. No, I'm on the part 4. But which chapter that we will see? 85th comes under why you and rich. So that's good. Now let's get back to the. Okay, so these are uncontrollable limited leverage UL. Part 2, the compound interest to be effective, you need three things. That is also true. Compounding is a magic, but that happens in the later years. That you can also do. Time as measured in the years and favorable years investment yield within those years and invested some repeatedly invested. Okay. Compound interest is the interested sum plus uh, the interest which you get. So yield is the interest, say 5%, 6%, 10%, and then over the time, how much is the time? That's how it will increase. Yeah. Although this is a simplified version of the more complicated equation, the point of this analysis is a variable component. Compound interest demands that your investments yields a predictable 10% return per year. Good luck with that. The 40-year gamble. Have the market ever lost 20% a year? Uh, 40% they have. And when they do, your hard-earned savings evaporate. You see, wealth acceleration via compound interest is deficient because its variables are deficient. Neither time nor yield can be leveraged or controlled. You can only leverage the things are in there, which are in your control. Again, meet my friend, uncontrollable limited leverage. You'll can you demand 2000% return on money in this year? Can you demand your investment time horizon increases from the standard 40 years to 400 years? Again, the number can't be leveraged. Your upper limit of the time investment horizon is 50 years. Yield is worse, 68%, 10% yearly investment returns are typical standards. Time is restrained by the years in your life. Yield is restrained by the average yield of the typical market investment. And some is limited because your means of creating income comes from a job, also limited. The only to subvert the mathematical weakness of the compound interest is start with a large number. A large number requires leverage. Additionally, like a job, you cannot control the compound interest. Can you demand your bank to pay 25% interest on your savings? Hey, Mr. Slolan Bank, I demand 25% yield on my saving account. Can you control the economy? Hey, Mr. Economy, can you guarantee me a low employment and a business-friendly tax environment? Can you control the average yield of a stock market? Hey, stock market, I am tired of 8%. Can you give me a 250% this year? First, can you control anything in this equation other than the furious labor-intensive search for the best investments to ensure you eke out another marginal 1% you cannot? Why mutual funds and the 401ks won't make you rich? In 2008, I went to a fixed income investment seminar given by a major brokerage house. Fixed income investments are instruments like municipal and the corporate bonds. Approximately 50 people attended the standing room by only seminar. I sat in the back and surveyed the crowd, removed the grey hair, the socks and sandals combo, the cans and the wheelchair. What was left? Just me. I was the youngest person in the room, and heck, I'm not even that young anymore. How does a 30 something get in a room full of retirees? The people in the room were slow-lived success stories. They used time to accelerate wealth, and what it got them was the old age. I don't say that to be mean-spirited to older generations, but to cast light on the point. Compound interest, 401ks, mutual funds, and stock market cannot accelerate wealth fast. According to the research and the marketing firms, the Harrison Group, IMC.com, only 10% of the penta-millionaire net worth $5 million report that their wealth came from passive investments. Age data was not provided, but you can guess the none of the 10% well under 30. Think about it. Have you ever met a college student who got rich investing in mutual funds or his employers 401ks? Passive investments. How about the guy who bought municipal bond in 2006 and retired in 2009? I wonder if that guy driving a 1.2 million car because of his well-balanced portfolio of mutual funds. These people don't exist because the youthful rich are not leveraging 8% return, but 800%. Has your wealth ever grown by 800% in 1 year? Probably not. But guess what? Mine has become. I am not shackled to the stolen wealth equation. My wealth acceleration vehicle doesn't come from the stock market. Yet you have been domesticated to believe that these tools accelerate wealth. Mutual funds, stock, bond, 401ks, and dollar cost averaging and compound interest are perfunctory stratagem for wealth acceleration in the slow lane. Unfortunately, without control or leverage, they are important wealth accelerator. Important. What do you mean by important? We have this thing to ask. Let's close it. Let's close it. Important. Without enough power to influence a situation or change. That word has a very different meaning. It's not good. What you see is that why not I directly read from the screen, but that won't look good. So what can I do is the thing is I want myself to be seen by myself. They are important well accelerator. Buy and hold is dead. In college, I was taught buy and hold was the safe investment strategy that made millions. Buy stocks in solid companies, sit back and wait decades, and voila, voila. I'd wish with millions, they would show that graph in your face and say $10,000 investment in XYZ company in 1955 would be worth $5 million today. Thankfully, I ignored it. In 1997, I opened a both IRA with $1,000 and invested my money in monies in a growth mutual fund and a major investment firm. Yes, I let the professionals manage it for me. Next for the next ticket, I didn't touch it. Essentially, I forgot about the account. In the 10 years that followed, I made over $10 million by following a fastlane roadmap and leveraging fastlane strategy. And what about the ROTH I opened 1 year ago? I never touched it and let it ride the apps and the flow of the slow lane. Okay, so exactly what he did, he opened and with ROTH IRA 10,000 Closing account is worth $690 with inflation. The real purchasing power is $400. My spare change bucket on my kitchen table was better investment. Had I invested $1 million, I would have lost more than $400,000. And this is slow learners anointed weapon of wealth. Hilarious. Millions worship the slow lane roadmap with buy and hold as a main street. A main street that is decades long, imperiled by hazards and rarely routes to wealth. I recently heard a slow lane prognosticator proclaim the effectiveness of get rich slow by citing this tasky factoid: if at the end of 1940 you had invested $1,000 in the stocks of the SE, SEP, S&P 500, you would now have. Okay, so they do it in 3 3. 1 million, 10 lakhs, 10 and 5 zeros, ultimately 6 zeros, 4K, thousands, millions, billions, trillions. Now this is 1 million, 1.3 million. So let's examine this fact. Assuming it is a fact, it's 90/40, and assume you are 21 years old. I think we do Dwala has come. Let me go and check. I can hear the noise of the gate that is being opened. That means my mom is there. She will take care of that. So I'll be here itself. Now, now let's see if I have got her message or not. Yes, she has. So now let's recreate that situation. It's 90/40 and assume you are 21 years old. It's 90/40 and you somehow got your hands on $1,000, which in today's dollar is about $15,000. You took that $1,000 in 1940 money and did as above. Congratulations, it is now 2011 and you are 91 years old, rich with 1.34 million, or if you were lucky to get your $1,000 on birth, you'll now be 71 years old. Yes, folks, it's time to get excited. Get rich slow is going to make you rich. Just ignore your 74 life expectancy and make sure your wheelchair comes equipped with chrome rims. Seriously, how does anyone get excited over this grab? The slow lanes, treacherous relationship with time, treacherous. Now, so slow lanes, treacherous relationship with time, compound interest, and a job have the same disease. The sinful and gluttonous consumption of your time while forsaking control. Both variables within the slow lane wealth equations are anchored by time. Time traded in a job and time traded in market investments. Time becomes the linchpin for wealth that congenitally congenitally ties to the mathematical handicaps of mortality, 24 hours in a day and a 50-year work-life expectancy. Yes, getting rich is a function of time, unless you plan on living forever. This relationship is dubiously foolhardy. Why? Because to trade your time away is to trade your wealth away. Examine these pathetically common examples. Assume a 5% saving rate on a gross salary and annual investment yield of 8% a year. We will exclude taxes and inflation. Salary which I am getting is $25,000 a year. That means 25 lakhs, thousands, lakhs, million, billion. They increase by 3. They increase 2 zeros. Invested over 40 years at 8%, this becomes okay. So, which you are saving 10%, one 1250 per year, 362, 895, 50,000 is the salary, 2.5k you are saving for 40 years at 8%, you will get this much. After 40 years, which you are getting is $2.17 million. 2 million, that means 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs, that means 20 lakhs, one more zero, 2 crore, 20 crore. Okay, like when you have this salary, this much. Investments are good, but it consumes time. That is not the fast lane. About philanthropist. Don't get any more with the numbers. Keep in mind this is 40 years from now. If you're 20 years old and you will be 60 years old, if you are 30 years old, you will be 70 years old. If you are 40 years old, you will be dead. Sorry, but that's beyond your life expectancy at these ages. Does this money and the freedom it buys sound appealing? Also, do you realize that this money will have 50% of your today's buying power? 40 years ago, you could buy a car for $3,000. The means 3 lakhs. And a loaf of bread for 20 cents. Lest we not forget the other lofty assumptions: gainful employment and the robust economy. The behests are safe 8% per year. In 2008, the market lost 50%. I guess the cruise forward to mention these anomalies. Folks, you don't want millions to accompany your train. You want it to accompany your life. Every day, people sacrifice their life for tiny nuggets of wealth. Their time is the liability and not the asset. Anything that steals time doesn't have the power to free time is a liability. Within the slow lane, the time is mistreated like an effervescent fountain that runs forever. Unfortunately, the mortality rate is 100% and the life's prognosis is death. Someday you will die and hopefully 60% of your time wasn't squandered in a cubicle while your children grew up and your spouse cheated with the human instructor. Cheating with the human instructor. The slow lane is a plan of hope. The slow lane dilutes your control. You are reading this book because you want to control your financial destiny, not put in the hands of some company or the stock market. If you want to get rich, you have to control and leverage the variables in the financial plan. Any financial plan without control immediately disintegrates into a plan of hope. Hope I don't get laid off. Hope my stock rebounds. Hope I get the promotion. Hope my hours aren't cut. Hope my company doesn't go bankrupt. Hope, hope, hope. Sorry, hope isn't a plan. The slow lane plan rests. The slow lane plan rests in a mathematical prison with time as the warden. To create explosive wealth fast, you must abandon the slow lane formula and its lecherous relationship to time. Wealth is built with time as an asset, not as a liability. Yet the slow laner's reaction to uncontrollable limited leverage is predictable. They embark on an errant fight against the one variable they perceive as a controllable, their intrinsic value. The slow laners argue, I must make my money, and that fight is fought futilely, 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 futilely with an expensive education. Chapter summary: Fast lane distinctions. Slow lane wealth is improbable due to uncontrollable leverage, uncontrollable limited leverage. The first variable is the Slowlin wealth equation evolves from a job that factors to intrinsic value that equates your nominal value for each unit of your life trading. Intrinsic value is the value of your time set by the marketplace and is measured in units of time, either hourly or yearly. In slow lane intrinsic value, regardless of its time measurement, it's numerically inhibited because there are only 24 hours a day, and for that hourly worker and average lifespan is 24 years for the salaried worker. Like the slow laner's primary income source, a job, slow laner's wealth acceleration vehicle, compound interest is also pegged to time. Like a job, compound interest is mathematically futile and cannot be manipulated. You cannot force feed the market or economy to give you phenomenal phenomenal returns year after year. Wealth cannot be accelerated when pegged to mathematics based on time. Time is your primordial fuel and it should not be traded for money. Your time should not be an expendable resource for wealth because wealth itself is composed of time. Your mortality makes time mathematically retarded. Your mortality makes time mathematically retarded for wealth creation. If you don't control the variables inherent in your wealth universe, you don't control your financial plan. Now comes the chapter 13, that is the futile fight education. Let me just search the meaning of the futile. Futile is used about an action having no success, useless. They made a last futile attempt actions without any result. Waste attempt, waste action. If I say in Hindi, व्यर्थ. Now let's go to this chapter 13. The only thing that interfere with my learning is my education. Oh my goodness. It took me 2 seconds to realize the meaning. The only thing that interfere with my learning is my education. That means my education doesn't let me learn things. Who is that? The fight against uncontrollable mental leverage education. Okay. The slow learner's natural reaction to be uncontrollable mental leverage inherent in their wealth equation is to wage war with intrinsic value by deploying the education weapons. The Yule defines the slow learner. The slow learner rationalizes that the only variable worthy of escalation is their rate of pay. I need to make six figures. I need to make more money. So predictably, they go back to school and get an MBA or some certification. They'll argue MBA grads earn 15% more, or the salary Starting salary of a certified PMP is $120 a year. For example, Steve Ambrose enrolls into an MBA program to sweeten his credentials. The cost of MBA is $44,000 and 800 hours. Steve justifies this twofold expense, time and money, because he anticipates his intrinsic value to rise. Upon completion, Steve expects to be worth more to his company and worth more in the competitive marketplace. Unfortunately, he still trades his time for money, just at a higher rate, yet still uncontrolled and unleveraged. Another example is my friend who enrolled in a project management certification class that ate 5 8 hour Saturday, 5 8 hours a day from her life and cost $2,700. Her goal, a project management credential that would raise her intrinsic value in the marketplace as a certified project manager. She exposes herself to new opportunities at higher grades of pay, but still a trade of time for money. Whether, oh, by the time I'm reading it, I just realized that we have crossed 100 pages. We are already on the 102. That's good. Now let's continue. Trade time for money. Whether consciously or not, a slow learner believes that elevating intrinsic value can create wealth. Want to be Want to be highly paid right out of college, go to medical school and become a doctor. As a physician, your intrinsic value is now worth $200 per hour. Become an engineer, a lawyer, an accountant, all highly paid professional salaried positions. Typically, a formal college education is used to serve slogan purpose. An explicit attempt to raise intrinsic value fights that intrinsic value very well. Not all education is created equal. The problem with formal education used to raise intrinsic value is that it's ungodly expensive in time and money. Not a week goes by when I don't hear about some freshly minted MBA graduate who struggles to pay his education loan while working in a mid-grade job he could have gotten out of high school. That that trap you to a job is not going that traps you to a job is not good that's trap you to a job is not a good dad. Preoccupation to become highly educated could be a Trojan horse to the freedom. Not all education is created equal. Some educations can roadblock your wealth. If an education entombs you under a mountain of debt and shackles you to a job for the rest of your life, is it really good education? If an MBA increases your salary by 15% and takes 50 years to pay, was it a good investment? It's great myth. To get rich, you need an expensive college degree. How was a degree isn't prerequisite to fastlane wealth. Some of the richest fastlaners are people who never finished either high school or college. Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, Richard Branson. Richard Branson is a hero. Michael Dell, Felix Dennis, David Geffen and John Paul DeZoria all dropped out of the school to pursue fasting objectives. I missed them. Don't go for masters. No, no, no. How dare they get rich and not be educated? So doesn't that truth hurt us? It hurt us. In a way or another it hurt us that how dare they become rich without education? The biggest obstacle in my learning is my education. So what can be done? That is the question. Will this book answer my question? There's a demand, there should be a supply, so prepare for it. That is concept. Ah, oh, I just come. I think I was wrong before. तू यहाँ हो तो बार-बार एक-एक करके होगी तो अगले दिन आएगी नहीं वो एक दिन नहीं करना हो तो बार-बार क्या बताऊं guys, I'm back from another receiving of the milk can from my milkman. Yes, it sounds fun, right? Yeah, I got it. I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. Ding, 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 ding. Oh my god, I don't know. This is in public domain, but let it be. I don't care. Now, the slow lane entrapment, financing expensive college tuition for an education, the dangerous game that can lead to slow lane entrapment, conformity, and education servitude. A typical collegiate study progress from a general knowledge to a very specific skill set. For example, while studying finance, I learned complex mathematical formulas that aid in financial decision making. Looks like lease or buy and return on investments. These concepts are specific tools to trade that can hinder your future options. The prescribed path for graduates with a finance degree was to get a job in the financial sector, an insurance company, an accounting firm, or an investing houses. My education had an indirect and unintended consequences of restricting myself options to specific discipline based on any educative skill set. The result conformity and limited choices. If there are not opportunities in my field, my education becomes marginalized and devalued. If the opportunities available require less education, says a B's and I have MBAs, B's bachelor's, and I have master's, I became overqualified and unemployable. If my skills erode in practically based on technological evolution, my education becomes deprecated and my value to society plumbers accordingly. This the second education entrapment danger is education servitude. While the sidewalker deals with lifestyle servitude, the slow learners wrestles with education servitude, freedom eroded by education that traps the victim to a job. Has your education indentured you to get a job? Okay, advanced degrees are not cheap. According to College board and average college degrees include room and board now cost nearly $60,000. Prefer the prestige of a private college? The tab will set you back a Ferrari. This kind of debt buries the dreams of your youth and puts them permanently bound to the slow lanes or worse, the sidewalk. Okay, now consider the statistics. In 2007, the Washington Post reported that according to Neil May, the big student loan service provider by the time college students are seniors, 56% of them will have four or more credit cards with an average balance of $2,864, according to the research report by demosusa.org, a public policy research and advocacy organization. People in the 18-20 age bracket spend nearly 30% of their monthly income on a debt repayment. So this is double from 20 years ago. A survey of the college borrowers found that average college senior graduated with nearly $19,000 in student loan debt, and graduate degree pursues more than $45,000 pursuers more than okay. Okay. 2007 Charles Schwab survey revealed that teenagers believe they when they get older, they'll earn an average salary of 145K. The reality, adults with a college degree earn an average salary of 54. Unfortunately, the future isn't so bright that you have to wear shades. The truth behind reality and expectation is about 100K just. The disparity might explain why the debt of your youth have exploded as they bridge their reality to expectation. If I can't make 145K, I can look like oh my goodness. If I can't make 145,000 a dollar, I can look like I make. So that's how the lifestyle should be to make the belief that I make 145K dollars. The best excuse people have for not having wealth is I don't have time. Well, why don't you have time? Because you have a job. Why do you have a job? Because you need one. Why do you need one? Because you have bills to pay. Why do you have bills to pay? Because you have debt. Why do you have debt? Oh, yes, because you went to school for 6 years and six figures in student's loan, college dropout. If you financed your advanced education with that automatically becomes parasite that traps you into forced job servitude and that destroys freedom. While you might earn more, work is forced to stave off the debt. The debt is pro parasitic because it fails to free time and instead creates indentured time. Sadly, the parasitic debt is unforgiving and isn't sim sympathetic to the source. Whether you owe $35,000 for your awesome BMW for student loans, debt steals freedom and forces indentured time. So, what is the chapter summary? The fast lane distinctions. The slow laners attempt to manipulate intrinsic value of education. Indentured time is time you spend earning a living. It is the opposite of free time. Parasitic debt is a debt that creates indentured time and forces work. I don't want to work at the age of, say, 30. I'm realizing these things. What else? I could be doing? That is the main question. So there is a night, there's a dark around me. So when I click the pictures, the screen flashes. So if the screen flashes, if I'm staring at it, I won't be right. The eyes automatically get closed. For that matter, let's see what we can do. Okay, so I realize that I have already charged my phone by 100%. Further. The things are completely temporary, but I need to. The hypocrisy of the gurus. This is chapter 14th. There was time when a fool and his money were soon parted, but now it happens on every day. You have been duped. Suppose after college you are getting a bit pudgy around the middle and decide it's time to get back in shape. You enroll in a community college class called Healthy Nutrition. Eat your way to a beautiful body. On the first day of the class, you arrive early, seat yourself, and anxiously wait the class instructor. After a few minutes, a obese man walks into the room and waddles to the front of the class. You think, wow, he's fat. He is here to change that. Good for him. As the man profusely sweats while fumbling with the stack of paper, you glance at the student chair near the man and wonder if he can fit on it. He is twice the size of the chair. Then suddenly you are hit with the paradox. This isn't a student but the instructor. Are you freaking kidding me? How can this man effectively teach a class called Healthy Nutrition, Eat Your Way to Beautiful Body when he is not a model of fitness teaching? How can anyone take him seriously? Bewildered at the hypocrisy and you leave the class and head to the bursar's office intent on getting a tuition refund. When it comes to gurus and financial advisors, this is what you must do. Leave class and request a refund because they are guilty of paradox of practice. Paradox of practice. What do you mean by paradox? Paradox means something that different. Paradox. Not as per society, not per as the general regulations. This is paradox. A situation statement with two or more words that seems strange and impossible together. It's a paradox that some countries produce too much food while in other countries people are starving. Virodhavas. The paradox of practice asks, do you practice what you preach? Are you a model, an exemplification of what you teach? Okay. Would you take skin care advice from a butterface? Would you take financial advice from a bankrupt bum? Would you take medical advice from a sanitation worker? Would you take bodybuilding advice from a 90 lbv clean? Okay, so do this. Work out together. The paradox of practice is heated debate in a do as I say, not as I. So this is how we are ending this live session right now. And you know on what page we were? The paradox of practice. I think page is 106 or 5. 106. Okay, so we'll start from this. Till then, bye bye. It was a very good session. This was my first ever session, that too for 1 hour. I feel some achievement kind of feeling I have right now. So let's close it. We'll start again tomorrow morning. Bye bye, guys.